My name is Lawrence, and I'm one of the co-founders of Cacao Source. Cacao Source is a social enterprise from Guatemala where we work with the production of ceremonial block of cacao.
My name is Jordan. I'm co-founder of Cacao Source. Vision of Cacao Source is to be a force of regeneration through cacao.
We didn't only focus on be a force of environmental regeneration through cacao, it's be a force of regeneration through cacao. It's because we also want to include socially, culturally, economically. I think the vision of Cacao Source includes everyone. And that's why I think I've fallen in love with it, where it's inclusive. It's for everyone to join. It's be a force of regeneration with cacao. There's no but, there's no only. It's anyone who stands next to us and is like, yeah, I want to be a force of I believe in regeneration. I want to be part of that. It's a very inclusive vision and includes everyone from any culture, any economical background. There's no standards to it. It's just let's do better all together as a community.
Regeneration, for me, it's like a good way to define it is by opposite. And so regeneration, for me, the opposite would be separation and destruction and desertification. And it's something that is going on full speed in our planet, in our human society. Separation from nature, division of like the food production and the origin of the food, and how a lot of more and more people in the world buy food and consume food like in a box where you have no idea where it comes from, you don't see where it comes from, there's no direct connection. Also division in our economy, having a same chain of supply in the case of cacao and the different actors of it having no idea about each other. Being a force of regeneration for me is like reconnecting the dots, reconnecting the different groups in the chain of supply of cacao, reconnecting the people that like cacao to the source of their food.
So for a very long time, we spoke about we need to become sustainable. And for a very long time, it was true. It's like, yes, we need to become sustainable. For me, sustainability is kind of closing the loop. Is saying we leave the place as clean as when we first entered. And that's an amazing concept. This being said, we're like way below what is working now. So sustainable is not enough anymore. We need not to spiral up. And for me, that's what regeneration is let's spiral up. It works within all the aspect of Cacao Source. So when we take just the word, we work with cacao. That's quite clear on the day-to-day. But to be a force of regeneration starts in every aspect. The first one is environmental, is how can cacao be an actor in the movement of regeneration in the forest of Guatemala? So how can we use it to regenerate the soil?
We support a farming model that promotes and that helps biodiversity in Guatemala, in the Mayan lands. And also globally, it's really interesting to see how cacao, in many ways, has become a leverage to implement agroforestry and food forests as a model of agriculture. And this is an agricultural revolution, or a revolution that is also somehow going back to ancient wisdom in many ways. Regenerating our agriculture right now is, I think everyone that is watching this video knows how important it is and why it is such a massive revolution going on. And with cacao, we totally do that because, for example, here in Guatemala, we're facing a very urgent context. We're in the Pacific front, in a place where there was very lush, very diverse, very abundant tropical rainforests like jungles that represent a massive amount of life. These are shaved, transformed into desert to produce sugar. And it's striking. And on the other side of the country, here, more on the Caribbean side, so in the Petén, in the Mayan biosphere, right? The disaster is palm oil. We're creating a system that is facing a system. And it's a systemic danger. that we are in. There's no actors anymore. We're trying to pick names and stuff, but it's just the mechanism of it.
And socially, it could look like how we work with our team, how we work internationally, changing the focus of putting people first. But again, it's improvement. So that doesn't mean having a perfect model from day one, because that's like a lot of responsibility, and it's a big challenge, and sometimes it looks impossible, so people give up on it. So instead of that, we were like, okay, let's do day after day, just like improve a tiny bit and a tiny bit more.
The whole world knows chocolate, and we are part of a movement that brings cacao, that redefines chocolate in the collective mind, that reintroduces this natural essence as a product that is unprocessed, that has a culture of being in harmony, of being in connection with ourselves and with nature. And so we are a project that actively works in sharing something that everyone knows as chocolate, but with a new identity that is medicine food. And I believe that by doing so, by allowing people to know the amazing medicinal properties and preventive properties of unrefined cacao, and how it can help in so many ways, and how a cacao that comes from an alive forest and therefore a rich and alive soil has much more nutrients, is much more nutrient dense than a cacao that comes from monocultural industrial farming. We're regenerating our way of connecting with food, which is regenerating our bodies, our physicality. This is what we aim at with Cacao Source model, is having a whole spectrum thinking, having a holistic healing, having a multifaceted approach to regeneration. Regeneration is not only in the fields, it's in our bodies, in our cultures, in our economic systems, and in our spirit, our collective spirit.
For a very long time, we keep doing what is not working, and then we try to improve what is not working, but it's still not working. So I feel now we're in this part in society, in the movement of rethinking, but rethinking we almost need to destroy. We need to start from the ground, and how can we rebuild? So I don't think there's one specific answer of this is the key, this is how we do regeneration, and this is how you can participate. I feel it's a process, and it's a process that we're all exploring. I think to be part of the regenerative movement is to have compassion. Compassion that it won't be perfect. It might not be organic today. Because if we only buy organic, if we only buy that perfect standard, certified, we're not leaving space for a small scale, locally owned farm to do that process and be valued through that process. And we need to have that compassion with the farmers, with also the businesses that try to do better. How can I participate in that movement towards organic? How can we support businesses that are not perfect yet, but want to become better?
I come from the activist world where we resist, we denunciate this activism of resistance. But I believe in the diversity of tactics. And I think that with ceremonial cacao, we are also activists actually, but we're activists of the heart. We bring a soft and gentle and embracing invitation to change to populations that are very much part of a globalized, urgent, and extremely destructive problem, which is our globalized consumer economy. Sugar and palm oil here are the number one problem, of destruction. You have massive amount of people buying those products all the time. So voting with their money for this economy, re-welcoming ourselves as humans as part of the cycles of nature. And this is activism. This is regenerative in many ways, because this are political and economical and ideological and cultural systems of change. And we need that change as a global community. We need inviting and loving ways to bring people back to nature. And cacao is a lot of that.